And it's mesmerizing. It's like, whoa, you know, this is like now real. And so now we're all prepared to get long. Now, patterns do bust. I mean, if this thing, you know, kept going, then, you know, the implications of this pattern are no longer in force and effect. It's called a busted pattern. So that's always possible. You know, we see these, you know, what look like double bottom, double tops, they come, they go and make new highs. So obviously that wasn't a double top. You know, sometimes we see a pattern that plays out. Here's a nice little head and shoulders. It breaks, it plays out. You think you got the tiger by the tail, comes, and now once it gets somewhere in here, it starts negating that pattern and on you go. So I've learned that the markets are dynamic and fluid, and you can't really take a fixed outlook to something. You know, that being said, you know, when I look at the head and shoulders in the IGV, that seems like a head and shoulders. That does not seem like it's going to get busted. So I said, you know, that, you know, it's very likely that we could see some symmetry with the top end of this shoulder here at 380. You could then come back and make it, you know, another thing, and then it could look like that. So, you know, very difficult to kind of make decisions now. Look, you still have another piece where it could roam. And, you know, so there's probably, you know, a bit left on the snowflakes and the Zooms and the Rokus that caught a bid, you know, after being down, you know, 80%, you know, not surprising, you know, all of these stocks, you know, are up a little bit this week because I think they've just had, you know, been, you know, smashed extraordinarily, and, you know, nothing goes straight down, although this has been pretty straight down, but you can see that there are, you know, times where, you know, it you know, goes to 300 and then goes to 350, and it looks extraordinary at the time, but it's just, you know, a little bump and grind in the cadence of the long-term downtrend. Markets trade, they go in counter trend rallies. This easily could go from 170 back to 200 and be in a bear market. You know, so the question is, do we fool, you know, I will do counter trend trades. I mean, they go very, very quickly and you can make some very quick money. And so, you know, a lot of these markets like Coinbase have put on some very interesting formations that suggest that you could get on, you know, a counter trend trade. So Coinbase is pretty interesting to me. And, you know, how it acts. And this is like Beyond Meat last May, where I made all kinds of money actually going long, even though I expected the market to eventually keep going down. So Coinbase put on this massive head and shoulders. And then we want to look at how the market responds to that. So, you know, once you see that, what should happen is you should, you know, just have a market that, you know, goes lower. But, you know, if the market starts not doing what it should do, it's going to do that other thing. And this is where I made all kinds of money on Beyond Meat last May, where it did exactly this. Beyond Meat broke through this neckline, which is around 113. It went to 90. And when it came back to the neckline, I go, whoa, this is not what it should be doing. And so if it's not going down, it's going to go up. And I start buying the stock at 120 and the call options. And 3 days later it was at 160. So you can get these magnificent things and it could still be in a downtrend. You know, Beyond Meat went to 160 and ended up back at $50. So markets are fluid, and, you know, we just got to adjust to what they tell us. But, you know, this is put on not only a double bottom, but then when I look at the price action within the bottom, made a new low, close at the high, made a new low, close at the high. So when I see both the pattern and the price action, you can start sneaking in these buy orders down here, you know, with a, you know, very, you know, small risk. And so you can start playing around. We don't know what this is going to do, where it's going to go, but this is where you can't overthink it. You just got to say, well, this is a bottom. The price action suggests that there's, you know, that the risk has been taken out. And I'm going to take a, you know, sneak a peek here. Unfortunately, I think coin is going to open higher, just $1 higher. So it's kind of in this area right now where, you know, you got this reversal here, you snuck up a little bit above here. I mean, prices were a little higher today. So, you know, all these markets are now in this area where, you know, is there still more gas in the tank, you know, for a move like this? Or is this just a kind of a fake out where, you know, we chase it and then you get body slammed and end up with a day like this? So this is why, you know, I've been a little bit on this fence this week, you know, because, you know, I see this magnificent counter trend rally. And the question is, you know, how long is it going to last? And to me, the best way to play those has been in these Chinese stocks, because I think the risk reward, if you're wrong, you're not going to get hurt that bad. We're close to a bottom. And if you can kind of just sneak in a buy here and test the water, even if you're wrong, you're going to lose $3. And so, you know, I've been playing around. I've been buying call options and the stock of JD. I think it's going to be slightly higher in the pre-market here. It's trading at 75.50, up about 50 cents. And this is something that, you know, I've been trying to catch for a while, but to my mind, you know, you have a bottom there, and then you have this kind of Eve and Adam double bottom there. So you kind of have these bottoms, necklines right around the 72 area. So if you buy it at 75 and risk to 72 and you're wrong, then you lose $3, and it's not at the end of the world. But on the other hand, you know, this whole thing, you know, could look like a big bottom and we could be up here.
So with counter trend plays, how do you figure out when to cash out, when to take profits?
The market tells you, right? So the market goes up and then all of a sudden, you know, you get one of these days where it makes a new high and close on the low and you go, whoa. You know, when you're long, you don't want to see one of these days. You don't want to see a big bar that makes a new high and closes on the low. Now, I say you normally can't just trade reversals in a vacuum, but they do tell a story. And you can see that after that reversal, you went straight down. So the market will tell you. So, you know, at some point, if the market comes back to this area, and, you know, it could dance around here, right? So you could close up here. This is a resistance area. And then you could, you know, see a couple bars like this, you know, which is not, you know, a reversal. It's just a consolidation. It's just, you know, you try and see, okay, when it gets to this area, does it top? Does it look like it's, you know, wants to go back down, or is it just kind of consolidate here and, you know, rest before it goes up there? And then, you know, somewhere up here, maybe you see one of these bars and you go, okay, time to take some profits. So the market, you know, my mentor, Graham Loving, when I was a kid, I had this trading guy, and he used to say, you know, Mark, the markets put me in and the markets take me out. Meaning that the patterns and the price action that put you in, you know, you look for a pattern and price action that takes you out. And so, you know, this was a good example where I thought this was the bottom. You had a nice double bottom, you had a retest, and I thought, okay, now you're off to the races. And so now, you know, I'm long and I'm, you know, complacent and looking for newer highs. And then all of a sudden, you didn't really have a key reversal, but what you had was, and this is what I kind of say to myself, okay, a market makes a new high. You know, then what does it do? You know, it stops making new highs, you know, and you can see for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, it poked around the same area, but it couldn't make a new high. It was struggling up there. So at some point, you know, it's like you bump up against that and then you can't make a new high and then it goes the other way. So you just look at the price action, you know, at certain areas. And this gave you some time. There was 5 or 6 days where it was bouncing around in the same area, but it could not make a new high. You know, every day was a lower low and a lower high. And you go, okay, feels like it's struggling up here, you know, and, you know, markets should be robust. If they're going to move, they should move. Now, it's not to say that, you know, gets up here and, you know, has one day where it doesn't make a new high and another day, you know, and so it's just observing, right? We're just observers.
You can see, yeah, 45 is 1.3 million.
$1.3 million short.
So pop out a profit for 118,000 there.
So you can see how this is going crazy now. You can see how the market just going nuts.
I bet like $1.6 million on this position. I'm showing right now $23,000 gain.